I'm having breakfast with Mary Lee. Yo-do-do-do-dee. I'm having breakfast with Mary Lee.
The following Breakfast with Barry Lee podcast is being smuggled to you right under the noses of the Federal Trade Commission. Standing by, my special guest for this week, Kendra Sours. She's with the Lord Fairfax EMS Council. She's going to help us observe CPR week. Right now, though, your brain buster. Doing this for 90 minutes will burn between 100 and 185 calories. Doing what? Is it A, babysitting, B, watching horror movies, or C, making out? Your answer coming up after the interview. Right now, a look at your podcast planner, nationaldaycalendar.com. Monday the 29th, it's Memorial Day. It's also National Paperclip Day. Tuesday the 30th, National Water a Flower Day. Wednesday the 31st, National Smile Day. And it's National Flip-Flop Day. Thursday the 1st, World Milk Day. 2% for me, thanks. It's also National Go Barefoot Day and Heimlich Maneuver Day. Friday the 2nd, National Donut Day, and it's also National Leave the Office Early Day. Chances are you take donuts into the office, the boss isn't going to mind if you leave it a little early. Saturday the 3rd, World Bicycle Day, Black Bear Day, and National Egg Day. And Sunday the 4th, careful with this one, Hug Your Cat Day. It's also Cheese Day and Cancer Survivors Day. And speaking of survival, it's National CPR Week, and joining us on the podcast is Kendra Sours. Kendra is American Heart Association Training Center Coordinator with the Lord Fairfax EMS Council, and she's going to help us celebrate the week, and we're going to learn something too. Kendra, good to have you with us on the podcast.
Oh, thanks for having me.
So we hear about CPR, cardiopulmonary resuscitation, but let's talk first about the Lord Fairfax EMS Council, who you folks are and the services you provide, and then we'll get into some of the details of CPR.
Okay, great. So the Lord Fairfax EMS Council is part of the Virginia Department of Health Office of Emergency Medical Services. So we offer a lot of services to our local EMS agencies within the region of Lord Fairfax. So the region consists of the city of Winchester, Frederick County, Shenandoah County, Clark County, Page County, and Warren County. So we offer mainly services to the EMS agencies within those areas, mainly offering them assistance with grants. We help build the protocols for them to provide care to patients throughout the region. And we do a lot of other things. We do have a website. It's www.lfems.vaems.org. So go on over there and you can find our mission and what exactly we do on a day-to-day basis. So my particular job is to offer the CPR classes throughout the region. So we offer mainly CPR classes on Sundays and some weeks during the week, evening classes. We also go out to businesses who have more than 4 people that need to be CPR certified. We'll go out there and provide them services. We'll bring all of the equipment to their area or to their place of business. We'll set up, we'll teach them CPR and usage of an AED, all on site.
And AED stands for?
Automated External Defibrillator. So generally when we do a CPR class, we also offer AED usage because that is a very important part of the CPR triangle. So you think about CPR and you automatically go to thinking giving breaths and giving chest compressions. The variable of offering electricity to the patient is one of the most important components of CPR. So the AED usage is also reviewed in all CPR classes.
We see these AED units everywhere in public places, and it seems like it would be pretty intimidating, but from the beginning, they were supposed to be pretty user-friendly. Is that still the case?
Yeah, so generally when AHA goes through and they do a revamp of their protocols, they do a revamp of the information, they do a lot of research to find, new ways to help people that have sudden cardiac arrest They even go into doing research on people with coronary artery disease, stroke care, and things like that. A lot of our protocols comes from American Heart Association research. So whenever they go through and they do a revamp of their program, they also put out new protocols. So the new protocols usually are installed into the AEDs. That's why when you purchase an AED, you need to make sure that you have a good maintenance program for your AED so that when new protocols are released, you do the updates on the unit when necessary.
So, Kendra, when you talk about CPR training and the services you provide, our local fire and rescue units that show up in emergencies, you provide EMTs with training?
Yes, we also do EMT training at the council office. We just finished up a class in April, and those students are currently testing out, and we have a class scheduled for a start date of August. So if you're interested in becoming an emergency medical technician or getting the opportunity to sit for your certification test, head on over to our website, and you'll find more information there. Also, the person that you would talk to get more information, if you'd like to call the council and speak with someone, would be Don Golf. So the number over there is 540-665-0014.
Let's sort of have a hands-on, pun intended, a little lesson here on CPR. So there's the mouth-to-mouth and there's the chest compressions. Which one you want to start with first?
So we can just start from the top. The very first thing that you should do if you see someone unresponsive would be to check to make sure that the scene is safe. You don't want to become a part of the equation yourself, so you want to check your surroundings to make sure that before you approach the patient that you are going to be safe yourself. The next thing you'll want to do is shout for help. So try to get someone there to assist you in some manner, whether it be to go find an AED or to contact the local dispatch agency or the 911 center so that you can get help on the way for that person. So you would check to see that the scene is safe. You would shout for help. Then you would start checking the responsiveness of your person. You can do all of these things also consecutively. So as you're yelling for help, shaking the person. Is this person awake, alert? Are they breathing? So if you see or hear no breathing, so you don't see any chest rise and fall, you do not feel any breath coming out of their mouth, and they're not making any noises, you can go ahead and start with doing chest compressions. So you would place the heel of one hand on the center of the chest and the other hand on top of that one, and then you would just push straight down.
For the longest time, and I'm dating myself, but it used to be, as far as the cadence would go, think of the song Stayin' Alive by the Bee Gees. Is that still a good song to go to? But for the younger folks, do they need a different song?
So AHA actually has a list on their website of some of the songs that have a good beat. So the backing behind that is the beat will help you stay in line with giving 100 to 120 chest compressions in 1 minute. So Baby Shark is another song. 24 Karat Gold by Bruno Mars is one. And then another one, Bites the Dust, is one.
Oh, some classics in there, too. Some classics. So we've gotten away from people worrying about doing mouth-to-mouth, that the chest compressions are most important.
Yes. So although all components of CPR are still important for the person, they have done some research and found that high-quality chest compressions and early electricity are the two variables that are really making an impact on the person or helping with possibly getting an out-of-hospital resuscitation on them. So if you do not have a barrier device or if you do not have some way to give them breaths and you don't feel comfortable giving them breaths, as long as you're doing something, doing chest compressions, getting someone to get you an AED if there's one nearby, that is still helping that person.
You know, I'm sure in your years of training and so forth, you've heard incredible stories. I mean, I know one person, somebody came to their workplace, gave lessons, and like within a day or two, put that information to work and save somebody's life. I bet you hear stories like that a lot, don't you?
Oh, yes. Yes, I hear stories like that, and I have lived those stories myself. So I've been in fire rescue since 2001. And we have seen how effective CPR can be. So high-quality CPR, early electricity, those things really do impact that person's outcome.
That must be an incredible, incredible adrenaline rush and a big stress release when that person starts breathing and they're on their way to the hospital. You probably can't put that into words.
No, there's no words. You know, it's just one of those things that you're just very thankful that you were able to be there. And there are many other success stories, both in fire rescue, in hospital, just lay rescuers offering CPR. So there are a bunch of videos on the AHA site where there are success stories where just lay rescuers came up and they seen someone unresponsive. They did react, and they reacted appropriately, and it did impact that person's life. So there are many, many success stories, and it's just a wonderful thing when the people do have the education in CPR and they are able to put it into practice.
That's awesome. Okay, what's that American Heart Association site? And then we'll get the Lord Fairfax EMS Council site again. But first, if we want to see the videos from American Heart Association, where should we go, Kendra?
So you would just go on to American Heart Association or AHA.com, and you'll be able to access the American Heart Association website.
All righty. And then you gave the website for the Lord Fairfax EMS Council. If you could give that one more time.
Yes, so that is www.lfems.vaems.org.
Well, Kendra Sours, American Heart Association Training Center Coordinator with the Lord Fairfax EMS Council, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast and helping us observe CPR Week.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. And, if anybody's interested in a class, just give us a call, and we're happy to help you out.
And that office number again is 540-665-0014.
Yes, sir.
Wow, very informative. Lots of life-saving information. Although I have to say, when it comes to picking out a tune to make sure you get enough compressions in there with trying to get the heart going, if I could make a song request for somebody to sing to over my unresponsive body, I would rather them be doing the Bee Gees' Staying Alive, as opposed to Another One Bites the Dust. Let's see how you did on the Brain Buster. Doing this for 90 minutes will burn between 100 and 185 calories. Doing what? Is it A, babysitting, B, watching horror movies, or C, making out? And the answer is B, watching horror movies. Of course, if you're watching a horror movie and going through a bag of kettle corn, it sort of equals out, I guess. Thanks so much for spending this time with me on the podcast. Remember my website, breakfastwithbarrylee.com. Share the site with others. My email address is there too. Would love to hear from you. Where are you listening from? In closing, and thinking of CPR Week, think about it. There's no real good time to have a heart attack, but I can't help but think that the worst possible time to have a heart attack would be during a game of charades. Have a blessed week.